the She Angels Foundation. I'm also the podcast host of Invest in Her and an award-winning producer, author, and TEDx speaker. Our show, Invest in Her, features phenomenal female founders and funders. As you know, women receive less than 2% of venture capital funding. Our series is about accelerating the funding of women by connecting them to funding resources. Let's meet today's guest. Welcome to this week's edition of Invest in Her. I'm your host, Catherine Gray, founder of She Angel Investors. And as you know, every week we try to provide resources that help you to grow your business, fund your business, or become a funder. And so today I have on a special guest. I've known her for over a decade. She's a bright light, and her name is Deborah Snyder, and she is with Cultivate Advisors. Let's welcome her to the show. Hey, Deborah, how are you?
Hi, Catherine. Over a decade. How's that possible that we've known each other
since we were 30?
Oh my God. That's right. That's right.
That's right. So let's talk about, I want to talk about Cultivate Advisors and what a great resource it is to our listeners who are entrepreneurs trying to grow their business so that they actually can get more funding and can create more cash flow, right? That's the name of the game.
Absolutely.
But first, let's just talk a little bit about our background. Let's tell everybody where you're from, how you ended up in California, and your most recent gig that you and I knew each other at, which was your vice president of membership at NABO, which is a well-known women's organization. So, Deborah, where did you start life out?
Where did it all start? Oh my goodness, Catherine. So high level here. Hi, everybody. Born in New York, raised in Cincinnati, Ohio, but been living in here, beautiful Southern California, for over 30 years. But the reason why I like to always bring that up is because it really has served me well, and that depending upon who I'm speaking with, I can relate to, just because I have had those various experiences. So
yeah, do you ever have people say, are you from the East Coast? I have that all the time. Or you're not from here, are you? They always say.
Right.
I take it as a compliment.
That's right. That's right. We have the with purpose, get it done, intention sort of mindset, which definitely has been helpful in life. And as far as
wait a minute, you look like a California girl. Me,
well,
not so much.
You know what? It's funny that you say that. So when this is another funny story. When I was looking at colleges, my parents were such East Coasters, and they were determined that I would only look on the East Coast. So they only let me look at East Coast colleges. And then, of course, what happens? I fall in love. The person I fell in love with, who is still my husband, it's 32 years this week. I knew him from Cincinnati. He came out to LA. And then I was like, you know what, I'm out of here. Because I was at Syracuse at the time, really quite a cold place. So here I am in California. And then, of course, my daughter ended up at an East Coast school, but now she's back in California herself. So it's a good life. We can't complain. But as far as
ask me which coast I like better, and I have to say that I love them both. I mean, I love New York. And I love LA. Like, I mean, they're just so different, but both so amazing, right?
Yes. The energy is different. However, there's still really big cities with really great
what's really different is the weather.
Well, there's that. I don't do snow. It's just why? But
So this brings us to, I know, like I said, over a decade we met, just as about the time that you were becoming the head of membership for NABO, the National Association of Women Business Owners, and did an amazing job growing that entity. And now you're kind of in your new exciting chapter with Cultivate Advisors. And that's really what I want to put the focus on today. I mean, I know your background working with all these entrepreneurial women certainly lends itself to what you're doing now. But what you're doing now is providing a service to entrepreneurs out there that want to take their business to even the next level. They're probably doing $1 million or more a year, but they want to be doing 10 or 20 million. Let's talk about why Cultivate Advisors would be such a great alignment for them, because there's a lot of coaches out there. What sets Cultivate Advisors apart?
Absolutely. And I just want to preface that my passion is about helping entrepreneurs. And it did start with my role with NABO and all the different stories, your story, Catherine, when we first met. And so Cultivate is an extension of that for me. And it's interesting, as far as women business owners, the stat has been that only 3% of women business owners exceed the benchmark of 1 million or higher. And yes, for Cultivate, we are looking for that business owner that has the growth mindset, but is wearing so many different hats in their business: marketing, sales, leadership, recruiting, and trying to figure out on their own, which can be very lonely, how to take your business to the next level. And what makes us interesting and different is that I have 30 full-time advisors. This is a very fragmented industry. So we are over 100 strong in Cultivate, and all of our advisors have been business owners themselves. So they understand what it takes to grow and scale. It's not in theory. And over half of our advisors, a little secret, are women. So it's really interesting to see that.
And it's so interesting that a lot of people will hire a coach that hasn't even built up a successful business themselves, which makes no sense. But I agree with you. The number one reason I think that women don't exceed those numbers that you just mentioned about, that were very paltry, is because they do try to do everything themselves. And the key is knowing when you're right at that right point, that you can't do it all yourself, and that it will actually behoove you to invest in advisors to help take you to the next level and take your cash flow from like $1 million to 5 million, 10 million, 20 million, so that one day you can exit or, do a merger acquisition.
Exactly. And so oftentimes, and when we say scale can mean different things. So scale could mean that you're looking for that exit strategy. And oftentimes with entrepreneurs, not only are they looking for the exit strategy, but then what's the next business that they're going to go after, because they have many ideas. And then the other thing scale could mean is that they want to have a life. They want to have succession planning. They want to be able to go on a vacation. So it really depends upon where you are in your journey as an entrepreneur. And so what we will do for you is really a give back piece to entrepreneurs, because we do believe one of our core values is the world is made better by entrepreneurs. So we offer a growth assessment where you can take a step back, gain perspective on your business, rather than working just in it, but you're working on it for a moment with an advisor that we will match up for you. And then you get a roadmap. You get basically an idea of where are the gaps when you're looking at. And so we call it this propeller mythology, Catherine, where it's almost like a propeller of an airplane. So the center being the finances. Then you have on one side, in terms of your growth, what does marketing and sales look like? And then on the capacity side, what does your leadership, recruitment, and retaining of talent look like? And then really doing a deep dive, slowing down, getting an understanding of what that means. And then we see incredible results. We're seeing a growth rate of 43% on the top line and 65% on the bottom line for business owners that decide to work with us. And that's about an average of 1 year growth pattern. Most businesses will work with us at least 2 years. So, but it's a subscription.
So what you're saying is, like, your success rate is amazing. Like, they help an entrepreneur sit down, look at where the holes are in their business, what's working and what's not, and how to fix what's not, to then take you to the next level. And these are people that have been there, done this themselves. That's what I like about your, group of team that's available to people. Like I said, a lot of times people will bring in coaches that haven't built up a business themselves. So, I think that's really a big plus with Cultivate Advisors. So they can go to cultivateadvisors.com and get, I remember you said, a free consultation, right?
That's right. It's so it's a growth. I like to call it a growth assessment, because that's really the mindset that we're looking for, is someone that's committed to that growth mindset. And also there are some other parameters to qualify you, because it doesn't make sense to go forward with us unless you are probably at about $500,000 in gross revenue. There's some other instances if you're at $250,000, but we've seen the most success in that sweet spot of $500,000 to 10 million. And there are other programs that we can offer if you're not there yet. So, but either way, I'd love to connect with you. I love being part of hearing that story. That's why I feel so lucky and that I do what I do, is that I hear these stories all day long. Can I share a fun story that
Absolutely. I want you to.
So there's two right now. One is a company where they make parachutes, and it's a husband and wife business. They've never been able to break $1 million. And we basically uncovered in the advisory session that it's really coming down to a key person that they need to hire. And what does that look like? And what's the job description to help also the business owners take a little step back, but to help them move forward. Another one is a chocolate company. And we're talking to her because she's seen her business being very seasonal, but then they were able to uncover some opportunities where she totally forgot about. I think sometimes when a business owner starts their business, there's passion, there's purpose, they're trying to solve a problem. And then as they get further into the weeds, they get further away from that passion and purpose. And so what the other thing I'm seeing after business owners coming away from this growth assessment is they're starting to dream again. And how cool is that? Because you and I,
sometimes you get so in the weeds and you get too close to it that you can't see from an outside perspective, which is why I always think that somebody having a coach is a great idea. You don't always want to run stuff by your aunt or your mother or your best friend. Sometimes it pays to actually get the advice from somebody who's been there, done that, and has your back and can see things that you're not seeing because you're so close to it, or because, like you said, you're so in the weeds. So I love these success stories. And are you able to tell us about some of the advisors, like what kind of businesses they've had? Are these people that have had exits and then they want to help other people? Take it.
They all have had exits. So that's been a prerequisite. The other thing, and I know because of the work that you do, Catherine, that I want to give a couple of other things to think about out there for everybody is, one, it is also someone coming in and really partnering with you without taking equity, which we know that sometimes that's the case when you are looking for investors, but also to get your finances in order so that you are ready and primed to get that investment money. It's very key. They're looking for that. And we're actually working with a lot of M&A companies out there where they deploy Cultivate to get these companies ready for that exit. So it is quite interesting. But I'm just getting to know the advisors. I'm really excited. We're actually heading to a company retreat next week. I'm going to be in Playa del Carmen, so I'll probably be able to answer that question better after next week. But my experience so far, hospitality, travel industry, an accounting firm. It's been all over the map. Someone in the cannabis industry, actually, which is a very hot industry right now that's trending. I'm speaking to a few cannabis companies. So
I think I might have a client for you in that niche.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. They're opening a very cool place. It's one of a kind.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
So the bottom line is that, and bottom line, no pun intended, well, maybe, is that a lot of times people say to me, how do I get the funding? And I think this is the answer, is that getting with people who have had successful exits, meaning have sold their company. I always like to talk in lay terms. And how did they get to that point that they were saleable? And then how did they reach out to these people that actually do the mergers and acquisitions? So people need hand-holding when it comes to this stuff. And so that's what I love about what you're doing now with Cultivate Advisors, to match them up with people from their industry that have been there, done that, and can help them take it to the next level. It's something I think every business owner needs at some point in their growth pattern. So really happy to let people know about it.
I appreciate the opportunity, Catherine. Obviously, you can tell I'm very passionate about the work that we're doing, and I really feel that we're making an impact. I know we are. We worked with 1,000 businesses last year, and it's just exciting to be part of that journey. And the other thing also is that because we have so many resources, because we have referral partners, right? So then when that business owner is ready to do a merger and acquisition, or they are ready for venture capital, we have relationships because we are constantly finding the tools and resources we need to serve the community that we're working with. So it is really a win-win across the board.
I've always found too with seasoned advisors that they tend to, have good contacts too. So, if you're trying to grow that business and you need a new manufacturer or
That's
you need
right.
some sort of insurances for your company or something, that's always good to be able to tap into that professional resource. So how do people find your company on social? Are you guys on LinkedIn, or where would they find you?
Yeah, we're all over LinkedIn. I personally am on LinkedIn, and I am posting great content for food for thought for you to be thinking about, and articles.
And for those just listening, let's spell your name. It's Deborah, the traditional Deborah.
Yep.
And then Snyder, Snyder, Deborah Snyder.
Yeah. Deborah Snyder, not Cinder, not Schneider, but Snyder, Snyder. Yeah. And we actually have some other free resources that you can take advantage of. I have a learning management platform that I call Edutaining. Happy to share some seats on that platform with you because they're done by actors and comedians. So kind of an interesting way to take in.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah, when it comes into marketing and sales and leadership and all that good stuff. And we're going to be coming out with some interesting technology so that if you want to test the waters and see the evaluation of your business, let's say you're thinking about selling now, we're going to be having an interesting which I know your eyes are lighting up right now. I'm watching you right now, Catherine, where then you could input some information, some data, and you'll see how you're valued at this moment. So stay tuned for that. That's something that we've been
that's key. I think every business owner has a hard time trying to decide on what their valuation is. People are kind of making it up. And if you're out there looking for funding from serious investors, a lot of times I see these people pitch and they'll say our valuation is whatever, and the investor's like, where did you come up with that? Right. And now you could say, I use this platform that weights all the variables, and you can give a actual answer that you have this, vetted type of analysis. So that is gold.
Yeah, no, we're so excited to offer this. So I'm not going to commit because I'm not in charge of it, but I do know that it's coming, and super excited to be able to share that with the entrepreneurial community as well. But yeah, on LinkedIn will be a great way, on being able to connect on our website. And I think for those that can click at some point when they're watching this, we'll provide my landing page for a free advising session, but just connect with me on LinkedIn, and happy to schedule a call with you and to learn more about your business.
Well, that's great. And people can visit Cultivate Advisors. You can find Deborah on LinkedIn, as she mentioned, and also Deborah at cultivateadvisors.com is your email, right?
That's right.
So yeah, I mean, everybody listening, the majority of people listening that have a business and want to grow it certainly should take advantage of the free consultation, and very excited to share with everybody about Cultivate Advisors. I just want to see women thrive. Like you said, it's such a small percentage that exceeds the 1 million. So if you're one of those women out there that wants to exceed that million and change those numbers, well, this is one of the ways to get on that path. So thank you, Deborah, for sharing this information. Look for Deborah on LinkedIn. You can look for me, Catherine Gray, as well. And of course, Catherine Gray, Invest in Her on Instagram. We'd love for you to follow us and follow our shows. They're filled with so much information to help you grow or fund your business or become a funder, even better. So you can visit our website, sheangelinvestors.com, to learn more. We also have a movie coming out called Show Her the Money that we're very excited about. So thank you for tuning in. Remember to invest in her. That means invest in another woman, and look for the new female-founded venture capital funds that are out there, and learn about that and how you can get involved in moving that needle where we get less than 2%. We're going to change that, ladies. We're in this together. Yeah. And Cultivate Advisors is going to help us do that. So, Deborah, thank you so much for the work you're doing, and super excited about Cultivate Advisors. Everybody check it out and make it a great day. Thanks, Deborah.